Hey guys, welcome to the Rubin Report. I'm the guy who invented curling, Dave Rubin, and I've got Gina Grad and Jimmy Dore with me, and let's get right to it. Good wave, Jimmy. Okay, we're going to start off Walmart. So you guys may have heard a couple weeks ago, CVS announced that they are no longer going to sell cigarettes, even though cigarettes are legal, at least as of the time that we're taping this. And now 7 Senate Democrats have sent a letter to Walmart CEO Doug McMillon urging Walmart to stop selling cigarettes. We write to urge Walmart, as the #1 retailer of cigarettes in the country, to stop selling tobacco products in all of its stores, the senator said. We recognize the legality of selling and profiting from tobacco products. However, Walmart's position as the nation's largest retailer of any kind puts your company in a unique position to contribute to the health and well-being of all Americans. Okay, so I think that's sort of interesting because tobacco is legal at the moment, and we have this whole thing with weed potentially going legal across the country too. It's slowly happening. So first off, before we get into Walmart, CVS has already done this. Do you guys back CVS doing this thing? Because in a way it could be very bad business for them because tobacco products do make a lot of money.
And then they're super expensive from all the bitching my friends are doing.
Yeah.
And it's something that if they're $100 a pack, they're going to bitch about it, but they're going to buy them.
They're still gonna buy it.
It's one of those, it's a gold mine. And if you're not selling it, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so do you think CVS was right to stop doing it?
I mean, if I can even use this organ to describe a major company, they followed their heart. God bless them. If that's what they want and it makes them look better, roll the dice, see if it works. But I mean, it's going to take away a ton of their business. People go to drugstores to buy cigarettes. That's why you go to drugstores, to buy condoms and cigarettes, right?
Pretty much. Following your heart, not something American companies often do. What do you think?
I'll tell you, CVS got rid of cigarettes, and they've already lost that smoky bohemian vibe they used to have.
Yeah, it was like Amsterdam every time you walked in there.
It really was. But so then they're doing it for health reasons, and that's why I think it's still nice that Walmart is going to get rid of cigarettes, but they're still going to sell scotch, guns, and ammo, and Larry the Cable Guy CDs, which are all very bad for your health.
That's exactly. Okay, so they're getting rid of the T, but what about the A and the F?
Yeah.
With the, I mean, they sell, just jugs of moonshine or whatever. And I'm down. I support it, and shotguns, and you can get like buckshot that are already seasoned with like barbecue or mesquite. So when it goes into the animal, it's already ready to go. Yeah. But you can't get a Marlboro Light.
Yeah. Do you guys think that there could be an actual economic benefit from them? Because people might. I've read people saying, well, we would go out of our way now to go to CVS, let's say, because they're not supporting tobacco. So we'll go a little further if that means we have to pass by Eckerd or something else.
To be perfectly honest, as a non-smoker, I couldn't even, if you told me right now, and this wasn't in the news, which drugstores sell cigarettes, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's pretty much everybody but CVS.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
So because CVS is making a big deal about it, I'd say, I think everyone but that one that everyone's talking about, I don't know, Walgreens.
No,
I mean, nobody knows, nobody cares.
I mean, I've been going to CVS even before this because I enjoy shit customer service. And that's why I like to stand in line and be treated rudely and not be able to find the things I want. But I like the idea that you're talking about your friends complaining about how expensive cigarettes. Yeah. And I agree. When I smoked, I used to smoke generics because I wanted cancer, but I wanted it full price. I want a deal on my emphysema. That's what I'm looking for. And I smoked the lights too, right? Because I was also a health nut.
Yeah, they smoke themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Wait, but did the money stop you from smoking at any? Was it all health, or was it because the taxes? Especially, how much are cigarettes here? I'm not even sure. I think it's maybe.
I don't know.
In California, it's like $8 a pack, but in New York, I think it's like 16 or something.
I was in a casino in Atlantic City, the Borgata.
Yeah. Been there.
And so I remember I was starting to smoke again. I was going back making one of those bad adult decisions. Yeah. And $10 the guy wanted for a pack of cigarettes. I was like, $10? Give me those.
Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
So, but I don't smoke anymore.
Choke on it.
So I haven't smoked in years, so thank God.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's a risk in companies like Walmart and CVS not selling things that are perfectly legal? Because then won't it drive the price up of cigarettes? Actually, if you can't get it at Walmart, which is supposed to be cheap, and you can't get it at CVS, well, then just these little places are going to be selling it, and they're just going to be jacking up the prices even higher. Or is that the end game? Because then no one will be able to afford it.
I think this is one of the things that I'm going to predict you're going to say something to the effect of, oh, Gina, if you were any closer, I'd pat you on the head. But aren't you not allowed to do that? Aren't you supposed to not do that?
Do what?
Like drive prices up just because stuff is hard to get?
Well, a company, if they can't release it all over the place, then it naturally is going to cause the price to go up.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't like
Do you want me to pat you on the head now?
No, I don't.
No. Oh, that was the point that I
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
Up as
Yeah.
it is.
What do you think? Supply and demand. Give us a little economic breakdown here. Isn't it a problem if legal substances aren't being sold by the big
They
boys?
can't charge $50 a pack just because you can't get them at CVS. Is what I'm saying.
But the demand will increase as the supply goes down.
Dave, I don't
I took
know much
Econ 101.
I don't know much about economics, but I do know that the price of tobacco is very inelastic. And so what that means is that, I don't know what it means, but the point is cigarettes are going to be cheaper and more expensive at the same time.
Well, you've really given me something to think about. Final thought on this, we'll all be okay when weed is in Walmart and CVS, right?
Thank you for understanding.
Oh, that's right.
Thank
It is, and my health food, it is a health food. You know that.
It is
Except it gives you
healthy.
moobs. You and you, not me.
It cured my cancer.
Please.
God bless.
I mean, I never had it, but I never got it either. So there you go.
It's preventative.
It's a pre-cure.
Yeah, and believe me, if weed gave men moobs, Jimmy would be like a triple D right now. Okay. All right, let's move on. Apple. Have you heard about these guys? It's apparently a big phone computer company. Little guys, I think they're going to be doing okay. There is a rumor that they are thinking about buying Tesla. Tesla, if you don't know, they make electric cars and components for electric cars. It's an American company. And their CEO, Elon Musk, met with Apple executives. And now the tech bloggers are all freaking out thinking, whoa, is Apple going to start making the iCar? If you don't know about the Tesla, let's look at a couple of them. So these are pretty fancy things. These things have been popping up all over LA. Have you guys been seeing them?
Yeah, they're the DeLorean doors.
I've driven in one.
Yeah, that's the DeLorean door, right? You've driven in one?
I've driven in one, yes.
And how'd you feel?
They are amazing for several reasons. First of all, the pickup is instant. So you step on the pedal and bam, it's just like you just jolt like it's a rocket or something.
Yeah.
Plus, their navigation screen is like as big as my television, which is nice because the navigation screen I have in my Prius, you can't even read the names of the streets. This, you can see the names of it's great. I love a Tesla.
Yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure we're all on board the idea of the electric car, right? We're good to go with that. Sustainable, environmentally friendly, etc. Is this just the next step for Apple? Like, doesn't this just seem pretty obvious? Like, they've dominated everything that we have in our pockets, and now they're going to dominate what we get around into.
But if Apple takes over Tesla, then there's one thing that we can guarantee, that if it's not already, Tesla will become a super shitty product that will be way more expensive than it already is. And if anything breaks on it, you have to replace the whole car.
Yeah.
That's what I can guarantee you about Tesla being owned by Apple.
And we're going to have to take our Teslas into that Genius Bar with those smug 18-year-olds.
And it's going to be made in China anyway.
But I like the idea that my car is, the manufacturing of my car is making someone want to commit suicide. Don't you? Doesn't that? It's a good feeling inside, like, somebody's really had a shitty time putting this together.
Right, but it'll continue to be designed in Cupertino.
Oh,
because that's what they always say in the Apple commercials.
Right.
Designed in Cupertino. They somehow don't mention made in China.
No, and that's the only, as though all of the exotic locales in the entire world that I would want to know the weather on my phone, the only one that it comes with is Cupertino, which I had to find on a map when I got an Apple phone.
Right, because they want you to think that's like Mecca or Jerusalem or something like that.
I've stayed in Cupertino. I don't want to brag.
Beautiful downtown Cupertino?
I've stayed in beautiful downtown Cupertino at I forget the name of the Grand View Inn.
Did you drive your Tesla there?
I wish I drove my Tesla there. I drove my Prius there, but yes.
Well, all right, Prius, so you're halfway there.
Right.
Just to give you a little sense of the numbers, Tesla is worth $24 billion. Apple's worth, a small paltry $485 billion. So yes, they could easily afford to make this thing happen. But let's get away from the specifics of that a little bit, and just electric cars. Why haven't they picked up? Is this just 101, the car lobby keeping the electric people?
Because all the fat cat T-Rexes and Stegosauruses are sitting around and saying, we have to protect this fossil fuel, and they're smoking their stogies, and they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, so it's just standard money.
There's no doubt about it. Sure, I mean, look what they did to even American politicians will shit on American cars. Look what they did to the Chevy Volt, right?
Oh, that's right. The Leaf.
But they came out and they were like, they really poo-pooed it.
Yeah.
And even though it was the car of the year and all that stuff, and so to the point where didn't Chevy take it off the market for a little while, or they did something?
Well, there were some recalls, and then it's back on now, and I
but
think
it's a great car. Yeah, I mean, the future obviously is electric cars, I think. But all the oil in the ground. I mean, you have to understand that the most powerful, richest corporations that the world has ever known own that oil, and they're not going to leave it there. So it's
kidding.
coming out.
You're kidding.
Right?
So unlike the cigarette thing that we just did, where they maybe were doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, you're thinking that the oil people, they're not going to do it like that?
So that's coming out. So I really don't see, and this whole thing about, now we're getting, I know I'm changing the subject a little bit, but they're saying now, we're going to get serious about climate change. The president's getting serious about it's too late. It's over. Yeah. Climate change is happening. It's going to keep happening, and we need to put our energies into living with climate change, not trying to stop it or change it because it's too late.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll go on your crazy tangent. So if Tesla is going to be bought by Apple, isn't this the type of thing that could be about how do we live with climate change? Because if anyone can give us products that we'll believe in and all that, it is Apple.
No.
Go, Gina.
Because Apple kills people. Because the conditions in which the Apple products are made are shitty, and they're made in third world countries, and it's super polluting, and it sucks, and nobody can afford a Tesla, and so nobody's going to drive them, and so none of this is going to matter anyway. It's all for PR, and it's all just for looks.
So it's easy to crap on Apple, but should we maybe give them a little props that maybe this could be good? You're not on board the crazy train.
I mean, I don't think anyone who it would matter to could afford it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Jimmy?
I don't know about you, but I'm getting a Tesla.
Yeah, Mr. Rockefeller over here.
The Tesla, by the way, it costs about $70,000. They started about $70,000.
Yeah, it's up on my
That's
dream
with
board.
the Grey Poupon windows, by the way. You don't even get the button windows with that.
It is. It's up on my dream board, right next to a new bathroom. Oh. Because one bathroom really is hard on a marriage. That's all I'm going to say.
You need a second
on
bathroom.
my vision board is less helicopters hovering over my home. I live in Hollywood.
Yeah,
okay.
Move out of Hollywood, lady.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about yoga mats and fast food because, there's a chemical that is in yoga mats that, of course, is in your fast food. You thought it was all pink slime, but no, it's even worse.
Did they somehow manage to put farts in yoga mats?
Patience, Jimmy. You'll see in just a moment. It's called azodicarbonamide. I think I got that close to correct. We'll give the correct pronunciation down below. And it is in a ton of fast food. Subway announced last week they're not going to use it in their bread anymore. That's for the 6-inch or the foot-long, but we've got a list of other companies that are using it. This includes McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, Wendy's, Arby's, Jack in the Box, Carl's Jr., Hardee's, and White Castle. Basically, the reason Subway is dropping it is because there was an online petition which garnered about 80,000 signatures. This substance is already banned in Europe.
Really?
Yes. The Center for Science and Public Interest want it banned completely here in the United States, but of course that isn't happening, and we're so far leaving it up to these companies. All of those still have it. Subway's getting rid of it. Should this just not surprise us? Every time we do these stories on pink slime, and literally the reason they use it is because it makes the bread more elastic and spongier, like a yoga mat. Yeah. So it's literally
you could downward dog right onto your sandwich.
Yeah. What is going on in this country with this kind of stuff?
We're used to it. I mean, I have friends that come here from other countries, get super fat in like 2 weeks and like slow down, turn gray, and we're just used to it. We don't know what the problem is. We don't know what their problem is. I haven't eaten that shit in a while, and I had like some McDonald's, and I honestly couldn't eat the bread because of the sponge factor. It freaked me out, and now I know why.
Yeah, because it literally is a sponge.
It's literally a sponge, and if you're into it, fuck it. We've been eating this stuff since we were kids. I'm sure it's all, it's in who we are. It's bound to our DNA. It's not going to matter at this point. But if it grosses you out, but for the love of God, stop eating it.
What does this chemical actually do? Does it to your body? Does it cause cancer or maybe a heart problem? Maybe memory loss, Dave?
Well, Jimmy, good question, because some researchers think it causes cancer.
Whoa.
So yeah, this is
go.
the stuff we're putting in our body. And I think you're right. We've just done this stuff for so long that you see the pink slime video and you're like, you find out yoga mats are in your buns and you go,
And that's the thing, like you're eating this shit and it's all made of plastic and you're eating it, you're consuming it, you're putting it in your stomach, you can't even breathe, it's probably blurring your vision, it's making you fat, it's making you obese, and you're like, oh, CVS doesn't have cigarettes. Okay. Like none of this shit, like what does it matter? I'm feeling sort of nihilistic, but what does any of this shit matter? Because we're not going to stop eating it anyway.
You're going down a dark hole there.
Why
does anything matter?
It's deep fried like Pop Tops from milk jugs. We'll eat anything as long as you stick it in a fryer.
But Jimmy, isn't it our right as Americans to eat crap and suffer the consequences later? Or as that commercial with, what's his name, the plumber, the cable guy, I eat corn dogs all day long and then I take a Pepsi. Like, isn't that our right as Americans to be fat fucks who are unhealthy and eating eating plastic? And isn't that what America's all about?
You know, as Chris Christie said, mistakes were made. Anyway, yes, it is our right to eat. We eat. It's funny you talked about how that chemical is already banned in Europe. There's lots of stuff that's already banned in Europe, but it's because the corporations have much more control of the government in America than they do in Europe that we have to eat frankenfood, as one judge called chicken McNuggets, right? Half of it's foam fucking mats, and the other half is chicken knuckles. You know, I mean.
Well, did you guys see? There's a video on YouTube now where McDonald's in Canada did a thing, about a 3-minute video. We'll link to it here, where they said people think we use pink slime, but we don't. And then they show you the actual process, and I assure you the process ain't pretty either. It's just gray. It's not pink, it's gray, so that's better.
And like you said, do we have the right to be fat fucks? Totally. But I think we also have the right to know what's causing us to be fat fucks. If it's just, you know, high cholesterol, good old-fashioned butter and lard, hey, knock yourself out. But if we're eating yoga mats, we should have the right to know that we're eating yoga mats.
Okay, so
if we don't have the right to be fat fucks in America, there's a lot of people at risk of being arrested right now. That's all I'm saying. We're going to have mass incarceration, and I mean mass.
We're going to underline the mass. All right, so last thought on this. Joking aside, though, is the real issue here that we are just so separated from our food? Like, people used to have land and grow their food. And, you know, you want some vegetables? Well, go pick them. You want some herbs? Go pick them. And now our food is so separate from us, we don't know what the hell is going on. Is there any way to reverse that process?
You know, for instance, when I'm a big Italian food person. And so I used to date this girl who had family there, and when we go visit, they would, like, you visit their family, they go, oh, they go kill a chicken, we come in, they get, so yes, it was right there. So you were connected to the food, you were connected. Now it comes in.
Did that make you crazy? Were you like, oh God, I can't look?
No, I thought it was great. I was like, oh, isn't that neat? Look at that.
And it actually tastes better too.
Of course it does.
Because a lot of people will say, like, I'm sorry, I can't eat anything with bones in it. I'm like, what did you just say? Like, they're eating all this crazy bullshit, but they don't want. You're absolutely right. They don't want to be connected to it. They don't want any part of it, and they're very happy to be like that.
And speaking of bones, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're allowed to put in a certain percentage of bone in McDonald's beef. So yeah, you're not getting away from the bones that easy. Capital One sent out a contract update to all the people that have their credit cards. And in it, it said basically that they can now drop by your house unannounced. So here, these are actual quotes. We're not making this up. We may contact you in any manner we choose, and that includes showing up at your house. Such contacts can include calls, emails, texts, faxes, or a personal visit. These personal visits can be at your home and at your place of employment. We may modify or suppress caller ID and similar services and identify ourselves on these services in any manner we choose. Meaning we can fake the phone number that we're dialing from and then pretend we're somebody else. We can also show up at your house, blah, blah, blah. Now, a lot of people have already said, well, this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. That's not quite true because the Fourth Amendment is about the government, search and seizure. So obviously Capital One and credit card companies are not the government yet, but it's getting pretty close. Is this just fucking absurd?
Well, I think it's okay if they show up at your house in a white shirt, a black tie, and ask you if you heard the good news about Capital One. Then it's fine, right?
Yeah, like we've increased your credit line and you don't have to pay off your debts.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'm used to this because I get my visa through the NSA. And so I've been used to this. Like, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. What do they want to come to my place of employment for? Because I have a credit card. It's like.
Well, I think this is all about scaring you so that if you get into debt, and then in the old days when they could just make phone calls, well, I think they want you to fear that they're going to literally show up at your house.
But they can already haunt you forever. You can't get rid of your credit card debt anymore because they re-rigged the rules. So I don't understand. So this is just more fear?
This is just more fear. And the fact that they're saying this is what we're going to do with the phone calls, too. We're going to pretend to be someone else.
Will there be actual Visigoths showing up at your door?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think so.
I'm out.
I don't like Alec Baldwin anymore now because of this, too.
Yeah. He's a, what did you call him, a fart snarkle?
He's a motherfucking fart snarkle.
Yeah. You didn't think you were going to get to use that joke anymore, did you?
I didn't.
There you go. That was a little something for Jimmy Dore. But really, like, how much of this also is just that these freaking things that we sign, you know, that you immediately just click, accept, and we do this with iTunes just as easily we do it with credit cards. How much of it is just that? You don't have do you have a lawyer on retainer sitting next to you all the time when you're about to sign up for something?
Certainly when I'm on Facebook, I do.
Yeah,
that is
you should.
That is really scary, and you know, because if you don't realize it, when you leave Facebook and you go to another website, if you don't sign out from Facebook, Facebook's gathering all your data. So when you go back to Facebook, you're like, oh my God, there's an ad for penis enlargers. I don't know, what am I doing? You know,
that has nothing to do with what I was doing on Facebook.
That had nothing to do. Why is that happening?
Yeah.
So because I was looking for black hookers, and they knew I was white.
Somebody
so the
doesn't
point
know
is
about Google Chrome Incognito. It's a thing.
What is it really?
Yeah.
So now, even if I put on private browsing, that still goes back to Facebook, no? I don't know. We don't know. We're not.
Well, either way, I'm pretty sure we're all agreed it goes to the NSA. So
it does go. To the NSA.
So forget about Facebook. But really, this thing with the pages and pages thing, you can't have a lawyer with you all the time. And even if you were a lawyer, are you going to read every word?
Who ever reads one of those agreed
Nobody.
Things? No one ever. So what is the point of that even? Could that hold up in court? Well, he did check the I agree things with iTunes.
And if you try, I've tried to be a good citizen. I've tried to, and it's so many words that I've never heard of in an order. I've never seen them that I'm already ruined before I get through the first sentence.
Yeah. So is this just the next step in how we've watched our privacy erode? I mean, right, between the NSA and what we know is going on with Facebook and everything else, that sure, now not only do you know where we are and we have GPS and we've given you all our information, but also show up at my house. Well, you want lunch? Can I get you lunch?
Yeah.
You know
I mean, really, is that the next step? Like, it's just been systematic erosion.
Well, this is
so
worse.
Why not?
It's actually worse than 1984. It's worse than the TV screen that can see you, because they can see you when you leave the TV screen. They see you everywhere you go, no matter where you are. They know where you are, what you're doing, who you had dinner with, who you're cavorting with. They know more stuff from their metadata than they do if they were actually listening.
You actually, to that point, it's actually worse than that, I think, too. You know why they know what we had for dinner and who we were with? Because they've armed us with the weapons to police ourselves.
Yes.
And so it's not about, like Big Brother. It's about, here, this is really fun, and slides cameras over to us and gets us hooked on it, gets me hooked on it.
Yes.
Google Glass, now they're talking about don't be a glass hole and take people when they don't know it and all this shit. But we're having fun with it too.
Right, so
we don't really have room to talk.
Yeah, so they give us Snapchat. People send all these pictures thinking they're going to disappear in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Then, of course, we find out last week that Snapchat's been compromised not only within Snapchat itself, but within your entire phone if you have Snapchat.
It has never been harder to be a 14-year-old girl, and I am so glad I'm not one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nobody's ever heard of just taking a screenshot of some poor child's.
There have never been 14-year-old boys who have been harder.
I think that was a fitting end to that one. Okay, let's move on. Jimmy, I don't know how you're going to feel about this story because according to MillionaireMatch.com, which is an online dating service for millionaires, they did a survey, and it turns out that rich women prefer conservative men. Nearly 77% of Democratic female millionaires said they would prefer to date a conservative man. 81.4% of female millionaires prefer a conservative man rather than someone liberal. This includes Republicans, Democrats, and independents. Only 10% of female millionaires said they'd prefer to date a liberal man. And of the women surveyed, 85% agreed that conservative men are better in bed. Wow, we do all work here at a progressive liberal network. You little nanny boy, you. Are you shocked that rich women don't want to be with you, Jimmy Dore?
I want to apologize to those 85% of women who think that conservative men are better in bed, that I got married, and I can't prove them wrong.
Yeah, but you'll get out there in the field.
Because yes, and I'll talk about. I would say also take care of the labia minor with them. But the point is, yes, it's all about, it goes back to our reptilian brain, right? What men want, what women want. What we want sexually and romantically has been engineered genetically for us for a couple million years, right? So we don't really, you think you're choosing a partner based on your conscious thoughts, but the truth is we're choosing our sexual partners on our unconscious thoughts. So I think that's why even liberal women want a quote unquote what they think to be a conservative man. Women want older men, more secure men. Men want younger women who are more fertile. It's all about procreation, and that's what this is about. But they're wrong about that. Liberal men can be just as strong. Look at me.
Look at this guy. Have you seen the hair on his chest? button that thing. For God, look at that.
Oh my good God.
Come on.
Look at that. My God.
Regular
It's-
Burt
Somebody
Reynolds over here.
get Dave a mop.
Yeah.
I have something to say about that
Yes.
too. I think it's much simpler than that. I think that rich women want conservative guys because they don't want some pool boy spending all their money. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that complicated.
Oh, interesting.
They don't want Cato living off their shit and just blowing through all their money. Conservative men won't do that.
Yeah.
And Cato Kalin, famous liberal. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if he's. I don't think he's anything.
But I think that when it comes to
Is he even human? I don't even know when
it comes to the idea of just some free spirit, anybody, but free spirit man, and I'll take care of you, baby, or whatever. They want to keep what they have, so they might as well be with somebody who's fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, I'm broke, but I get the idea of it.
Right.
I think a lot of women, if they're given the choice between, say, Andrew Breitbart or Matt Damon, they might go Matt Damon,
So
right?
it's not.
Yes.
I see your point. So it's still.
Depends
Well,
on-
first off, Andrew Breitbart's dead. So yes, most women want to
Definitely.
sleep with a
Right.
live man. That's
Yeah,
true, and a
definitely.
millionaire Hollywood
All right,
playboy.
let's go George Will or Ben Affleck. How about
That's a
that?
good one.
I'm going to go Ben Affleck on that
Yeah.
every time.
You're gonna go Gigli?
Oh, no doubt
You're
about
gonna go
it.
full Gigli?
Yes, full.
How much of this do you guys think has something to do with just that liberals, because liberals are for gay rights and women's rights, it makes liberals seem sissy-ish, and a woman maybe wouldn't want to be with a sissy-ish man.
It's just like women don't want you to ask what to do in bed, right? Even though even sex therapists tell you you're supposed
You
to
guys
do
tell
that.
me. I'd love to hear what women want from both of you.
Well,
I have no
Continue.
freaking idea.
it's been my experience that women like a man who takes control. It goes back to that whole thing,
Yeah.
we can't get out of our sex roles. We have them for a reason. And so women like that, a man who's in control. If you ask, hey, can I do that? It blows the fucking mood. And so, you can talk before or you can talk after, but during you have to be the man.
Right.
So getting past the intellectual,
you-
I'm going to let you go,
You
but
tell
getting
me.
past the intellectual part of,
Sure.
being for obviously women's equality and
Right.
gay equality, do you think there might be something about a guy who just believes what he believes and that he doesn't care about it that you might find attractive?
I guess. I mean, I tend to attract people in my life, I think, in general, that believe the opposite of what I believe because I think it's more interesting. I don't need a bunch of people I agree with hanging out and giving the thumbs up to each other.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think my first comment about this whole subject was about the money was because that was the first thing that made sense to me. I don't personally understand where these statistics come from. I think they are 100% wrong.
I mean, if you can't
really?
trust the people at millionairematch.com.
Then who the
that's
fuck can you trust?
Yes, millionairematch.com.
Oh, dude,
How sad is that though if you're a millionaire and you have to go to millionairematch.com?
right?
Can't you get on a freaking your own private jet and go
There-
find somebody like?
If anyone needs a notepad, in my humble opinion, because I don't have too many things that I'm certain about in this world, now would be the time to grab it.
Okay.
There is nothing more irritating than a man. That's it. There is nothing more irritating than a man who says, you know what, I don't even need you to tell me what you're into, what you like, what you do, because I got this all under control. You know what? You don't have anything under control. There's 51% of the population that you have not serviced in any way. You don't know anything about them. So lose my number.
You know what, Gina?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, because I'm going to bring us over to the last segment. That's right. Let's talk about the internet trolls. We haven't talked about them for a while. A lot of sites have been slowly banning the anonymous comments. YouTube, as you guys know, I'm sure, has been changing their comments. A lot of comments are disappearing and getting spammed, all that kind of stuff. The Huffington Post has said they're going to ban anonymous comments, although that hasn't happened yet. But an interesting study came out on the trolls. Researchers at the University of Manitoba investigated whether people who engage in trolling are characterized by personality traits that fall into the so-called dark tetrad. Machiavellianism, which is a willingness to manipulate and deceive others. Narcissism, which is egotism and self-obsession. And psychopathy, which is the lack of remorse and empathy. And finally, sadism, which is the pleasure in the suffering of others. So the study found that these traits, and sometimes a combination of these traits, are something that the trolls, as they were, I really wish there was a better word for that, seem to all or most have. Jimmy, take it away.
Well, now, was that a study about, were those personality traits of internet trolls or Catholic school teachers? Because that's what it seemed like. That every Catholic school teacher I had suffered from all of those things.
It's a fine line. It's a fine line.
Yeah, and you know,
the
the thing about, we are in an increasingly impolite society, right? It's brutal. If you go to YouTube, pick any video, you look at the fourth commenter always mercilessly rips the third commenter, and then the fifth commenter, the peacemaker, tries to find common ground, and for that he's rewarded by the sixth commenter impugning his sexuality.
You are so right.
Right, there's a real science, because it does go like that there's basically like a decent conversation for a little bit, and then it devolves into just everyone attacking each other. But is there something, you know, I know it's easy to make fun of the trolls, and we do it all the time, but is there something healthy about it? Is there something healthy about the ability to anonymously just vent, and then you can still do this outward normal life, but that you get that shit out?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because I don't think that's what trolling is. And by the way, I think it's a perfect word, because I think in this time where we're all so politically correct and sensitive, we can finally call something what it is, this hate speech by these people that don't feel they have any other power or any other outlet in any other way. I think it's a perfect word for it. Yeah. And if it wasn't, if it had a point and if it was constructive, it wouldn't be called trolling. So I don't know what the healthy benefit of that is.
Yeah.
And that's why I do not read comments, because I really truly believe that if you like me or hate me, it really is none of my business. If I got rid of all the death threats and rape fantasies and all of the marriage proposals, I would just be back to me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I know how big my boobs are. I was born with them. I get it. I know you know. I'm so glad you like them. But I don't need you to tell me about them. So I get it. And I just don't really see what the benefit is of going on, logging in, burning calories to actually do the work, but I don't know who's going on reading them either.
It's
me.
Jimmy. Is reading them. Comedians, we're weak when it comes to that, because you get, as a comedian, you find that you can get 20 good compliments and you're like, zippity doo dah, but you get one bad one. You're like,
I'm going to respond to that son of a... I'm logging into my undercover name.
Yeah. So you have an undercover name.
I have several.
You have several, and you're responding to these people and fighting with them?
You know, sometimes.
Does that mean you have these traits?
I think I might have some of them. I think the one positive thing that trolls do, when it's, you'll see a guy and he'll write something, and then you're like, and then I'll catch myself, oh, he's goofing around, right? This guy's just trying to get a reaction. Right. And then it helps me take a step back and see it as okay, so I'm not too emotional. I don't get, it helps me it actually does help me pull back and kind of deal with these things in a more rational way, actually. Yeah. The whole commenting or the whole idea of whatever video I'm watching.
Yeah, so neither one of you, as the freedom lovers that I know you are, you don't want to get rid of them. So despite everything you just said, you think that it's a perfectly fine thing to exist,
honestly,
right?
I just don't understand, and maybe it's because it's too personal for me, but I don't understand how you are allowed to do stuff like this anonymously. I've never understood that. That I don't get.
Right.
So please take it away if you understand it.
Well, what do you think about I mean, people clearly wouldn't do it, right, if it wasn't anonymous. So do you think YouTube should ban the anonymity?
That's tough. This new thing that they've done where with the Google Plus, and I hate it. Yeah. And it's actually driven some people away from YouTube. So I think it's bad. I think you just got to let people. Who gives a shit if you know who the person is? Don't. It's just a comment. Just pass over it.
But you don't think that holds the person doing it accountable? It doesn't give them another layer of maybe I'm not that guy. Because for me, I've never really been one. I can handle myself. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. This has always been my problem. It's my poor mother. It's my poor family. Yeah. These people are proud of me. They want the best for me. They don't need to go to their, little organizations or their bank or whatever and go, look at what my daughter's done. Google her name and see something horrible. That I can handle myself, but I don't want to put people who love me and who are much sweeter than me through this.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. There is a guy who commented on a lot of our early videos who used his avatar was a picture of Bill O'Reilly, and I think it said Bill O'Reilly 69 or something. And my mom called me and she said, Bill O'Reilly's been writing these crazy things under your YouTube videos. That's not what my mom sounds like, but you got it.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, Mom, not, sometimes they fake, But yeah, you
made it.
So you wouldn't ban them. You'd let them be?
No. What I like is, can I just, it made me, I don't know why it made me think of this.
Bring us home, Jimmy.
But my mother, no matter what, they just don't understand. Your mom doesn't understand that's not Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
I remember when my second Comedy Central special aired, and my mom and I was like, "Hey, Mom, it really did well." It's blah, blah. She's like, "Oh, great. Hopefully somebody will see this and give you a break." Like, this is the goddamn break. I have a whole hour on television. They're giving me my whole hour to say whatever the fuck I want. It's a big deal. It worked out. All worked out. Somebody did see me, and they gave me a goddamn TV show.
There you go, people. We are ending this with a shout out to Jimmy's #1 troll, his mother. That's really pretty great. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Gina Grad, Jimmy Dore, their Twitterers are right there. And we'll do it again next week. Thank you.